The cafeteria erupted with cruel laughter. 300 students turned to watch as Nathan Reynolds moved behind the small girl sitting alone. His hand began reaching for her shirt. Time seemed to freeze in that moment. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead. The smell of reheated pizza mixed with teenage sweat. And Sophia Lawson's knuckles turned white as she gripped her lunch tray. "They don't know who I am," her mind whispered, "but today, they will." Quick pause. If this story moves you, hitting like helps others find it too. Maybe even that one kid who needs to hear they're not alone. And if you tap the thanks button below, you're helping us share more stories like Sophia's. Now, let's see what made her different from every victim Nathan had broken before. 3 weeks earlier, Sophia had walked through Lincoln High's doors for the first time. She kept her head down, clutched her books like armor, moved through hallways like a ghost. Nobody noticed the way her hands trembled, not from fear, from restraint. Every morning at 5:30, while her classmates slept, Sophia trained in her garage. Her father, Michael, a former Marine, had converted it into a combat gym. Heavy bags hung from steel chains. Training mats covered the concrete floor. The walls displayed medals and certificates from underground MMA tournaments where fighters competed under fake names. "Remember," Michael would say, wrapping her hands with practiced precision, "true strength is knowing when not to use it." This morning had been no different. Sophia's fist connected with the heavy bag. The chain groaned. The bag swung wild. 150 pounds of sand and leather moved like it weighed nothing. "Good," Michael nodded. "But high school isn't a cage fight. These are children, not fighters." "I know, Dad." "Do you? Because once you reveal what you can do, you can't take it back." Sophia understood. She'd spent 16 years learning to hide her abilities. New school. Same rules. Stay invisible. Don't engage. Never show them what years of Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and Krav Maga had built inside her small frame. But Lincoln High had other plans. Nathan Reynolds ruled the school like a king. 6'2", built like a linebacker, with cold blue eyes and a jaw that seemed permanently clenched. His father sat in federal prison for aggravated assault. His mother worked 3 jobs to keep their apartment. Nathan channeled his rage into making others feel small. His crew followed him everywhere. Marcus Thompson, the muscle, stood 6'4" with arms like tree trunks, but struggled to read at grade level. Tyler Edwards, the Joker, hid his pain behind cruel pranks and practiced cruelty. Dylan Carter, the wannabe, had lost 60 pounds last summer and now punished others the way he'd once been punished. They spotted Sophia on day 1. "Fresh meat," Nathan had whispered, watching her eat alone. The campaign started small, a shoulder check in the hallway, books knocked from her hands, whispers that followed her like shadows. Sophia endured it all with silent patience. She'd handled worse in previous schools. This too would pass. But Nathan Reynolds didn't like being ignored. 2 weeks into the semester, the harassment escalated. Sophia found her locker painted with obscene words. Her notebook disappeared during chemistry, reappearing later soaked in energy drink. Someone started an Instagram account using her yearbook photo, posting vile captions that made her stomach turn. The notebook incident hit hardest, not because of the destroyed homework, but because of the photo tucked inside. Her mother's picture, the only one Sophia carried. Water damage had erased half her mother's smile. Nathan had stood there grinning as sticky liquid dripped onto the classroom floor. The whole class waited for Sophia's reaction. She stood slowly, every muscle coiled like a spring. For one moment, Nathan's grin faltered. Something in her eyes made him step back. Then she knelt down, carefully salvaging what remained of the photo. No tears, no anger, just quiet determination. Connor. O'Brien watched from across the room. The student body president had noticed the new girl's situation. He'd grown up with Nathan, watched him transform from a scared kid into a predator. Connor knew he should do something, but direct confrontation with Nathan meant social suicide, so he helped in small ways. Accidentally bumping into Nathan when he cornered Sophia, loudly announcing teacher arrivals when the crew gathered around her locker. Small acts of interference that bought her moments of peace. Marcus noticed the pattern first. "That girl's different," he told Nathan one afternoon. "She doesn't react like the others." "That's what makes it fun," Nathan replied. "She thinks she's tough. We'll see how tough when we're done." The psychological warfare intensified. Nathan's crew spread rumors that Sophia had been expelled from her previous school for inappropriate behavior. They photoshopped her face onto compromising images, circulated them through Snapchat. By week 3, half the school believed the lies. Sophia felt the stares, heard the whispers, saw the cruel messages flooding her social media. Any normal teenager would have broken. But Sophia wasn't normal. Each morning in the garage, she channeled the anger into her training. Her father noticed the intensity. "You're hitting harder lately," Michael observed, steadying the bag. "Just working on technique." "Sophia," his voice carried the weight of understanding. "What's happening at school?" She wanted to tell him, wanted to explain about Nathan and his crew, about the daily humiliation, about the rage building inside her chest. But Michael had his own struggles. PTSD from 3 tours in Afghanistan, nightmares that woke him screaming. He didn't need her problems, too. "Nothing I can't handle, Dad." Michael studied his daughter's face. He recognized the look, the same expression he'd worn before missions, when violence lurked just beneath calm. "You know, you can tell me anything." "I know. And you remember our rules. Only in true self-defense. Only to protect myself or others. Never in anger. That's my girl." But the rules grew harder to follow each day. The bathroom incident nearly broke her control. Thursday afternoon, between classes. Sophia entered the second-floor girls' bathroom. The door slammed shut behind her. She heard the click of a lock, the scrape of something heavy dragged against the door. Dylan's voice came through the wood. "Nathan says, huh? Trapped." The windows were too small to escape through. No other exit. Panic would have consumed anyone else. But Sophia closed her eyes, controlled her breathing, entered the meditative state her father had taught her. "Fear is the enemy," she whispered. "I am not afraid." Outside, Dylan started to sweat. He'd expected screaming, crying, fists pounding on the door. The silence unnerved him. What kind of 16-year-old girl stayed quiet when locked in a bathroom? After 15 minutes, he heard footsteps. Rebecca Anderson, the school's psychology teacher, appeared in the hallway. "Dylan Carter, step away from that door." "I was just... now." Dylan fled. Ms. Anderson opened the door to find Sophia sitting cross-legged on the floor. Eyes closed. Completely calm. "Are you all right?" Sophia opened her eyes. "Yes, ma'am." "Come with me." In her office. Rebecca studied the girl across from her. 20 years of teaching had given her instincts about students. Something about Sophia's stillness. her controlled movements. The way she constantly assessed exits and angles reminded Rebecca of veterans she'd counseled. "I see what you're doing," Rebecca said softly. "The control, the breathing techniques. Were you trained?" Sophia met her gaze but didn't answer. "I won't push, but I want you to know I'm here if you need to talk. And, Sophia, sometimes the strongest thing we can do is ask for help." "Thank you, Ms. Anderson." Rebecca watched her leave, worry creasing her forehead. She'd seen that look before, the calm before the storm. That night. Nathan gathered his crew at Marcus's house. His parents worked nights, leaving the basement free for planning. "She's not breaking," Dylan reported. "It's weird. Man, she just takes it." "Then we're not pushing hard enough," Nathan decided. "Tomorrow, lunchtime, we go nuclear." Tyler shifted uncomfortably. "Define nuclear." "Public humiliation. Maximum damage. Make her wish she'd never come to Lincoln." "Bro, maybe we should chill," Tyler suggested. "She hasn't done anything to us." Nathan's hand cracked across Tyler's face. The slap echoed in the basement. Tyler tasted blood. "You going soft on me, Edwards? You forget who pulled you out of the trash freshman year. Who made you somebody?" Tyler held his jaw, eyes watering. "No, Nathan." "Then shut up and follow the plan. You're either with us or against us." Marcus and Dylan exchanged glances, but said nothing. They'd seen Nathan's rage before. Better to ride the wave than get crushed by it. Friday arrived gray and cold. Sophia felt it in the air, the electric tension that preceded violence. Her father noticed her distraction at breakfast. "You sure you're okay?" She pushed eggs around her plate. "Yeah, Dad, just tired." "Maybe we should skip training tomorrow. Take a rest day." "No." The word came out sharper than intended. "I mean, I need the practice." Michael reached across the table, covered her hand with his. "Whatever's happening, you don't have to face it alone." Sophia squeezed back. "I know." But she did have to face it alone. That was the burden of strength. Use it too soon. Become the aggressor. Use it too late. Become the victim. The line between them was razor thin. At school, Connor O'Brien noticed Nathan's crew moving with purpose. He'd seen them plan attacks before, recognized the formation. Nathan led. Marcus flanked. Tyler and Dylan swept the perimeter. They were hunting. Connor pulled out his phone, started recording. Whatever came next. There would be evidence. Lunchtime arrived like a gathering storm. The cafeteria filled with its usual chaos. 300 students talking, laughing, eating, the smell of industrial food and teenage energy, fluorescent lights humming their endless tune. Sophia sat at her usual table in the corner, back to the wall, exits mapped. She ate mechanically, tasting nothing. Her phone buzzed. A text from her father. "Remember who you are. I trust your judgment." She typed back. "I might need to break our rule today." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, "Whatever happens, I trust you." Sophia put the phone away and waited. She didn't wait long. Nathan's crew moved through the cafeteria like sharks through water. Students instinctively moved aside. Conversations died. 300 pairs of eyes tracked their movement. They surrounded Sophia's table, Nathan in front, the others forming a semicircle. No escape routes. "Hey, freak," Nathan announced, voice carrying across the room. "Eating alone again? What's wrong? Nobody wants to sit with the psycho." Sophia continued eating. One bite Chew, swallow, repeat. I'm talking to you. Nathan slammed his hand on the table. Her water bottle jumped. Still, she didn't look up. Maybe she's deaf, Marcus suggested. Or just stupid. Nah, Dylan added, playing his part. She's just scared. Look at her shake. But Sophia wasn't shaking. Her hands remained perfectly still as she set down her fork, wiped her mouth with a napkin, finally raised her eyes to meet Nathan's. Can I help you? Her voice was calm, almost pleasant. It threw Nathan off balance. He'd expected fear, defiance, anything but polite disinterest. Yeah, you can help me. You can help me by getting out of my school. It's not your school, Nathan. It is now. He picked up her lunch tray. And freaks like you aren't welcome. The tray flipped. Food cascaded down Sophia's front. Marinara sauce splattered across her white shirt. Green beans tangled in her hair. Chocolate milk soaked her jeans. The cafeteria erupted in laughter. 300 teenagers pointing, recording, jeering. Sophia sat motionless as food dripped onto the floor. Oops, Nathan grinned. My bad, let me help clean you up. His hand reached for her shirt. Time slowed. Sophia's mind calculated angles, distances, threats, 4 attackers. Nathan at 12 o'clock, reaching with his right hand. Marcus at 2 o'clock. Weight on his front foot. Dylan at 10 o'clock, hands clenched. Tyler at 8 o'clock, already backing away. Nathan's fingers touched fabric. Don't. One word, quiet, final. Nathan laughed. Or what? You'll cry. Tell a teacher, face it, freak, you're nothing. Just trash we need to take out. He pulled. The sound of ripping fabric cut through the laughter. Sophia's shirt tore, exposing her sports bra underneath. The cafeteria exploded in whistles and catcalls. But something else happened in that moment. Something only trained fighters would recognize. Sophia flowed from her seat like water. Her stance shifted. Weight distributed. Hands open. The shy, quiet girl vanished. In her place stood someone else entirely. Her eyes had changed. The warm brown became cold steel. Her breathing slowed. A predator, recognizing prey. Connor zoomed his camera, catching the transformation. Later, when the video went viral, combat sports analysts would point to this moment, the instant a trained killer decided to stop pretending. Nathan saw it too, his grin faltering. Some primitive part of his brain screamed danger, but ego overruled instinct. He couldn't back down now, not in front of everyone. What are you gonna do? Freak, hit me, I dare you. Sophia smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. Okay. The lightning struck. Human beings can't consciously track movement faster than 20 milliseconds. Sophia's first strike took 8. Her fist drove into Nathan's solar plexus with the force of a sledgehammer. Every molecule of air expelled from his lungs. His diaphragm spasmed. He dropped like a puppet with cut strings. Marcus lunged forward. Street fighter instincts taking over. Sophia pivoted, using his momentum against him. Her hand shot up, catching his throat with surgical precision. Not hard enough to crush the windpipe, just enough to trigger the gag reflex. Marcus hit the ground gagging, tears streaming. Dylan charged from the left. Panic overriding thought. Sophia's knee rose to meet him. Textbook Muay Thai. His forward momentum plus her upward force equaled physics he couldn't overcome. Dylan folded in half, collapsed beside Nathan. Tyler stood frozen. He'd watched the whole sequence. 3.7 seconds. 3 trained fighters down. The girl hadn't even changed expression. Their eyes met. Tyler saw no anger, no satisfaction, just cold evaluation. He raised his hands in surrender, stepped backward, tripped over his own feet. The crowd laughed as he scrambled away. Silence descended on the cafeteria. 300 students stared in shock. Someone dropped a tray. The crash echoed like thunder. Sophia calmly removed her outer hoodie, pulled it on to cover her torn shirt. She sat back down at her table, picked up her fork, resumed eating like nothing had happened. Nathan writhed on the floor, struggling to breathe. Marcus dry heaved, Dylan curled in the fetal position. Not one of them could stand. Teachers poured through the doors, drawn by the sudden silence. They found a scene from a nightmare. 3 of the school's toughest boys down, 1 small girl eating lunch. "What happened here?" Vice Principal Harrison demanded. Nobody answered. 300 witnesses, 0 voices. Connor kept recording. His hands shook, but the camera stayed steady. He'd captured everything. The assault, the self-defense, the aftermath. This video would change everything. But Sophia didn't care about videos or consequences. She'd broken her father's rule, shown the world what she could do. There would be no hiding now. She took another bite of her sandwich, chewed slowly, and waited for whatever came next. The storm had finally broken, and Sophia Lawson was done pretending to be prey. The principal's office smelled like old coffee and disappointment. Sophia sat in the leather chair, hands folded, watching dust particles dance in the afternoon light. Through the window, she could see parents arriving in expensive cars, faces twisted with concern and anger. Principal Morrison paced behind his desk, sweat beading on his forehead. 25 years in education, and he'd never seen anything like this. The security footage played on his computer screen for the 3rd time. 3.7 seconds. 4 boys down. 1 girl calmly returning to her lunch. "Miss Lawson," he started, then stopped. "What did you say to a 16-year-old who'd just demonstrated professional-level combat skills?" The door burst open. Michael Lawson filled the frame, still wearing his work uniform from the garage. His eyes swept the room, cataloging exits, threats, angles. Military habits died hard. "Dad," Sophia said quietly. Michael crossed to his daughter, knelt beside her chair, his hands checked for injuries with practiced efficiency. Finding none, he stood, faced the principal. "Show me what happened." Morrison turned the monitor. Michael watched in silence. His jaw tightened when Nathan grabbed Sophia's shirt. His eyes narrowed as she responded. When it finished, he nodded once. Textbook self-defense. 4 attackers. Appropriate force. No permanent damage. He looked at Morrison. "We're done here." "Mr. Lawson, your daughter assaulted 4 students." "No," Michael's voice carried command authority. 4 students assaulted my daughter. She defended herself. The video's clear. Unless you want to explain why sexual assault is tolerated in your school. Morrison's face reddened through the window. News vans were already gathering. Someone had leaked something. "The boys are in the nurse's office. Their parents are demanding—" "I don't care what they're demanding." Michael turned to Sophia. "Let's go." "Wait." Morrison pulled out his phone. "You need to see this." Connor's video was already online. The title read, "David vs. 4 Goliaths. Bully gets instant karma." In 30 minutes, it had 50,000 views. The comments section exploded with support for Sophia. "Is she a Navy SEAL? Give this girl a UFC contract." Finally, someone stood up to bullies. "Notice how she only used enough force to stop them. Total professional." Michael sighed. "How many views?" 70,000 now. Morrison refreshed. 80. It's climbing fast. Within an hour, the video hit 500,000 views. News outlets picked it up. Teen girl destroys 4 bullies in epic cafeteria fight. Social media exploded. For justice, for Sophia started trending. In the nurse's office, Nathan Reynolds stared at his phone. His mother had texted 6 times. His hand shook as he called her. Nathan Michael Reynolds. Her voice was ice. I'm watching the news. I'm watching my son assault a girl on national television. Mom, don't. Just don't. I'm coming to get you. Nathan had never heard his mother cry, but as the line went dead, he heard her sob, one broken sound that shattered something inside him. Marcus Thompson sat on the next bed, ice pack on his throat. His little sister had sent him the video with a single word, why Dylan couldn't stop scrolling through comments. Each one hit like a punch. Coward. Woman beater. Got what he deserved. His phone rang. His father. I'm disappointed in you, son. 4 words. Dylan threw his phone against the wall. Tyler sat apart from the others, holding his jaw where Nathan had hit him the night before. He hadn't even fought Sophia. But the video showed him advancing, falling, crawling away. The internet had already memed it. When you realize you picked the wrong fight. His face plastered across Twitter. The door opened. Rebecca Anderson entered with the school counselor. Boys, she said quietly, we need to talk. 2 hours later, Nathan's mother arrived. Sharon Reynolds had aged 10 years in one afternoon. She'd worked 3 jobs to keep Nathan out of trouble, away from his father's influence. Now she watched her son become everything she'd fought against. Get in the car. Mom! Let me explain. Car. Now. The drive home was silent until Sharon pulled over at a rest stop. She turned to her son, tears streaming. Do you know what I saw in that video? I saw your father. I saw the man who put me in the hospital. I saw the rage that destroyed our family. Nathan felt something crack in his chest. I'm not him. Then who are you? Because that boy attacking a girl smaller than him. That's exactly who he was. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this. Nathan, sorry doesn't erase what the whole world saw you do. Sharon's phone rang. She looked at the number, went pale. It's the prison. It's your father. She put it on speaker. The voice Nathan hadn't heard in 2 years filled the car. Sharon, I saw the video. Nathan's father, Marcus Reynolds Sr., sounded different, older, tired. Is the boy there? I'm here, Nathan whispered. Is that who I taught you to be? Attacking girls running in packs like cowards? Dad, I'm in here for assault. Son, lost everything because I couldn't control my anger. And now I watch my boy walking the same path. Silence stretched between them. You know what I see and hear every day. Men who started just like you. Bullies who became criminals, who became inmates. Is that what you want? No. Then change. Now, before it's too late. Before you end up in a cell next to mine. The call ended. Nathan broke. 16 years of rage and pain poured out in tears that shook his whole body. His mother held him as he sobbed. Meanwhile, at the Lawson house, Sophia sat with her father in their garage gym. I broke the rule, she said. Did you? I showed them what I can do. You said once they know, everything changes. Michael nodded. Everything has changed. The question is, what do you do now? Sophia's phone hadn't stopped buzzing. Interview requests, sponsorship offers, MMA gyms wanting to recruit her. She turned it face down. They need help. Dad, Nathan and his crew. They're broken. That's not your responsibility. Isn't it? I could have walked away, changed schools. Instead, I stayed and let it build to this. You defended yourself. I did. But what if I could do more? What if instead of just defending, I could help them heal? Michael studied his daughter. That's a warrior's wisdom. But are they ready to learn? Only one way to find out. The next morning, Lincoln High held an emergency assembly. Principal Morrison stood before the student body, the viral video playing on the screen behind him. What you're seeing is the result of systematic bullying that this administration failed to address. 4 students have been suspended pending investigation. But suspension isn't enough. We need change. He introduced new policies: mandatory counseling for bullying incidents, self-defense classes, peer mediation programs. The audience listened in unusual silence. I also want to address Sophia Lawson. Miss Lawson, would you stand? Sophia rose from her seat. The cafeteria erupted in applause. She remained still until they quieted. You showed remarkable restraint. Morrison continued. You could have seriously hurt those boys. Instead, you used minimum force to end the threat. Would you consider teaching other students? Yes, Sophia said simply, then sat down. After the assembly, Tyler Edwards found Sophia in the parking lot. Wait, please. She turned. Tyler's face was swollen where Nathan had hit him, but his eyes held something new. Shame. I need to tell you something. Freshman year, I was the victim. Beaten daily. Stuffed in lockers. I tried to kill myself. Sophia waited. Nathan saved me, pulled me into his group. Suddenly I was protected. But the price was becoming like them, hurting others so I wouldn't be hurt. And now I realize I just passed my pain to someone else. That's not healing. That's just continuing the cycle. Tyler pulled out his phone, showed her a video he'd recorded. I want to post this, tell my story, maybe help other kids like me make better choices. Sophia watched the video. Tyler spoke honestly about his pain, his mistakes, his regret. It was raw, vulnerable, powerful. Post it, she said. Truth helps people heal. Tyler uploaded the video that night. By morning, it had 200,000 views. Comments poured in from other bullied kids who'd made the same choice. A conversation started. Marcus Thompson watched the video with his 8-year-old sister, Jasmine. Is that why you're mean sometimes? She asked. Because someone was mean to you. Marcus couldn't answer. Jasmine hugged him. I still love you, but maybe you could be nicer. That weekend, Marcus stood outside the Lawsons' garage. He'd driven by 3 times before finding the courage to knock. Michael answered. You're one of the boys. Yes, sir. I wanted to apologize and ask for help. Help with what? I'm strong, but I use it wrong. Could you teach me to use it right? Michael looked at Sophia, who nodded. Be here tomorrow, 6 a.m. Don't be late. Dylan posted his own video. He talked about being overweight, bullied, losing 60 pounds and thinking strength meant hurting others. The vulnerability shocked people who knew him as Nathan's enforcer. I became my own worst nightmare, he said to the camera, but it's not too late to change. If you're watching this and you're a bully, ask yourself why. What pain are you passing on? The video went viral. Messages flooded in from kids struggling with the same cycle. Nathan took longest to act. He spent days in his room, reading comments, watching response videos, seeing himself through the world's eyes. His mother brought food he didn't eat. Finally, he knocked on her door at midnight. "Mom, I need help." Sharon held her son as he talked, about fear of becoming his father, about anger he couldn't control, about hurting others to feel powerful. "Will you go to therapy?" she asked. "Yes, real therapy, not just school counseling." "Yes, and you'll apologize to that girl properly." "I don't know if she'll listen." "Doesn't matter. You apologize because it's right, not because she'll forgive you." Nathan found Sophia at her garage gym the next Saturday. Michael answered his knock, face unreadable. "Sir, I'd like to speak to your daughter to apologize. She's training." "I'll wait." Nathan sat on the porch for 2 hours. Finally, Sophia emerged, wrapped in a towel, sweat glistening. "Nathan?" He stood, then did something unexpected. He knelt. "I'm sorry, not just for that day, for everything, for making school hell, for the rumors, for trying to break you because I'm broken. Get up. I needed you to know. Get up." Her voice was firm. Warriors don't kneel. They stand. They face their mistakes. And they learn. So stand up and tell me what you've learned. Nathan rose, met her eyes. "I learned that I'm afraid. Afraid of becoming my father. Afraid of being weak. So I hurt others to feel strong. And now I want to learn real strength, the kind that protects instead of hurts." Sophia looked at her father. Michael nodded. "Monday, 6 a.m. Bring the others if they're serious." "Why would you help us?" "Because someone helped me once, when I was angry and lost. They showed me that strength without honor is just violence. Maybe I can show you the same." Monday morning, 4 boys stood outside the Lawson garage. Nathan, Marcus, Tyler, and Dylan, all nervous, all desperate to change. Michael opened the door. "You're late." "It's 5:58, Dylan protested. "Early is on time is late. Late is unacceptable. Push-ups, all of you. Sophia will count." Affirmed for the next hour. They learned the difference between strength and brutality. Michael taught them forms, breathing, control. Sophia demonstrated techniques with a precision that reminded them how easily she'd dropped them. "Fighting isn't about hurting," Michael explained. "It's about protecting. Protecting yourself. Protecting others. Protecting even your enemy from your worst impulses." Weeks turned to months. The boys arrived every morning, sometimes beaten down by life, sometimes by training. Slowly, they changed. Nathan's therapy sessions helped him understand his anger. His father called weekly from prison, their relationship rebuilding through honest conversation. Marcus discovered he loved teaching. He started coaching younger kids. Showing them strength could be gentle. Tyler turned his pain into purpose. Doing stand-up comedy about bullying, making people laugh while learning. Dylan became an advocate, speaking at schools about breaking the cycle of abuse. The viral video's impact spread beyond Lincoln High. Schools across the country implemented anti-bullying programs inspired by Sophia's story. She received letters from kids who found courage to stand up, to speak out, to seek help. Connor's documentary, 3.7 seconds, premiered at the school film festival. It showed every angle of the story. The bullying, the breaking point, the redemption. It won first place and a scholarship to film school. Rebecca Anderson used the incident in her psychology classes, analyzing the dynamics of bullying, the power of redemption, the possibility of change. Students listened with new understanding. 6 months later, the same cafeteria where everything exploded looked different. Not physically, but energetically. Sophia sat with a diverse group of friends, laughing at Tyler's latest comedy routine. The boys who'd once terrorized her now sat nearby, part of the larger circle. New students arrived, potential victims of potential bullies. But now they had protectors, older students who'd learned that strength meant standing up for others, not tearing them down. Senior year arrived faster than expected. College applications, scholarship essays, future plans. Sophia received offers from universities with top martial arts programs. Nathan pursued criminal justice, wanting to help kids avoid his mistakes. Marcus got recruited for football but chose education, planning to teach and coach. Tyler landed a comedy scholarship. Dylan was accepted to peer counseling programs. Graduation day dawned bright and clear. Families packed the auditorium. Sharon Reynolds sat in the front row, tissues ready. Beside her, for the first time in 4 years, sat Nathan's father. Early release for good behavior and completing anger management programs. Principal Morrison announced the valedictorian. This young woman taught us that true strength isn't about fighting. It's about knowing when to fight, how to fight, and most importantly, when to forgive. Sophia Lawson. Sophia took the podium. The crowd fell silent. 4 years ago, my father told me something I didn't understand. He said, true strength is knowing when not to use it. I thought that meant hiding what I could do. I was wrong. She looked at Nathan and his crew, now her friends. True strength is using your power to lift others up. It's showing mercy to those who showed you none. It's believing people can change, even when the world says they can't. Her voice carried across the auditorium. We all have power. Physical, emotional, social. The question is, will you use it to break people or build them? Will you pass on pain or help others heal? She talked about second chances, about redemption, about the courage it takes to change. Never mentioning names, but everyone knew the story. Today we graduate not just from high school, but from who we used to be. We leave here different than we arrived. Stronger, not in our fists, but in our hearts. And that's the education that matters most. The standing ovation lasted 5 minutes. Nathan's father wept openly. Sharon held his hand. After the ceremony, Sophia found Nathan adjusting his cap in the hallway. Thank you, he said simply. For what? For showing me I could be better, for believing I could change when I didn't believe it myself. Everyone can change. Nathan, they just need someone to show them how. Michael appeared, camera in hand. Picture time, all of you. The 5 students who'd once been enemies stood together. Sophia in the middle. The boys around her. Not as victim and bullies, but as friends who'd walked through fire together. Summer arrived with new challenges. College preparation. Continued training. The garage gym had become a community center where kids learned self-defense, self-control, and self-respect. One evening, as Sophia and Nathan taught a class of middle schoolers, a new student arrived. Small, quiet, keeping to walls and shadows. They recognized the signs. I'll talk to her, Sophia said. She approached the girl gently. First day is always hard. The girl nodded, not making eye contact. I'm Sophia. Want to know a secret? A tiny nod. 4 years ago, I was you, scared, alone, trying to be invisible. Know what changed? The girl looked up. What? I learned that being strong doesn't mean being mean. It means being kind, even when the world isn't kind to you. Want to learn? The girl took Sophia's offered hand. As the class began, Michael watched from the doorway. His daughter had become what he'd always hoped. Not just a fighter, but a teacher. Not just strong, but wise. The cycle of violence broken. The legacy of healing begun. True warriors, he thought, create more warriors, not victims. The sun set over Lincoln, Ohio, painting the sky in shades of hope. Inside the garage, young voices counted in unison, learning that real power came not from hurting others, but from having the strength to help them heal. 3.7 seconds had changed everything. But the real fight, the fight to be better, to do better, to lift others higher, that fight never ends. And Sophia Lawson, the girl who'd once eaten alone, now stood surrounded by those she'd helped save, including herself. The envelope felt heavy in Sophia's hands. She stood outside the federal prison, autumn wind pulling at her hair. Inside the envelope was an invitation that would complete a circle started long ago. "You sure about this?" Michael asked from beside her. He deserves to see it. Dad, to know his son, became everything he hoped. The guard led them through security to the visiting room. Marcus Reynolds Sr. sat behind reinforced glass, gray touching his temples, eyes carrying the weight of choices that couldn't be undone. "Mr. Lawson, Sophia," and his voice was different now, humbled by years of reflection. "Thank you for coming." Sophia slid the envelope through the slot. "Nathan wanted you to have this." With shaking hands, Marcus Sr. opened it. Inside, a photo of Nathan in police academy dress uniform, accepting his badge. Beside him stood Sophia in her MMA championship belt, both grinning at the camera. The man who'd once terrorized others now wept at what his son had become. "Nathan's a cop now, Youth Intervention Unit," Sophia told Marcus Sr. through prison glass, "helps kids before they fall too far. And the others? Marcus runs a gym. Tyler does comedy. Dylan counsels at our old school." Marcus Sr. pressed his palm against the glass. "Tell Nathan I'm proud. I'm taking every program here. He'll be waiting when you get out. We all will." Outside, her phone buzzed. "Nathan. New kid needs help." She smiled, typing, "On my way." Some fights end in 3.7 seconds. Others last a lifetime. But real victories are measured in lives changed, cycles broken, hope restored.